question.
We have a question, Rinpoche, from Sarah, and she asks, how do you develop more trust if you are aware that your trust is very limited and you want to help it grow right in that moment?
So how you can let your trust grow more in the moment when you feel it's shrinking or it's limited? Yes, so basically, if you look, the reason why your trust is shrinking is that because there is a fear and there is anger, there is these negative emotions are playing more important role. Your darkness, your weakness, your fear is playing more important role in that moment. And these emotions are, that's what it's saying, how I can trust. And they don't trust themselves, they don't trust others. So in some sense, during those moments, again, what I said earlier, not to driven by them, not to suppress them, and just be aware of them and rest. Just be aware of them and rest. Remember, the fear we talked earlier about during the practices, there's a fear that you are trying to be present and be want to. But then these voices are voices of fear who says, how I can trust this moment when they are doing these things. Whose voice is that? Is this a voice of awareness? Is this your voice that you identify with? Or this is a voice of fear, nothing has changed, it's the same thing. So this is the voice of fear. And you sit with that voice as you sit with that fear. And so that's how I would do it. And I think that that will help.
We have Ambaranta sharing an experience. And she writes, sometimes when the heart is open and trusting, a thread of sadness or grief starts to come into her experience.
So it's a comment. So sometimes sadness is a clearing, and then the fear is clearing, and then some sense of sadness, it's releasing, and the tears are coming. So I think it's a good. So basically, it's like an expression of maybe like a gratitude of the fear. The fear, like a child, comes with the tears when the mother is smiling. So some sense of, it's a recognition of love, or recognition of support, or recognition of mother. There's some sense of it's an acknowledgement of connection. I think the sadness can arise, the tears can arise, and so when you're holding that space, it's a great place to allow those tears, so that tears do not leave traces if you hold in that space. Yeah,
that's all.
That's all. Okay, so I think we are almost kind of finishing here. Just a few more minutes. So again, I encourage everybody, as I said earlier, that when I'm traveling around, it was such a joy for me to hear people. I met somebody in Japan, and who said that she wakes up 4 a.m, around something like that, very, very early in the morning, not miss any life class. And so I know, like, there are people who never met her before. So there are people like that all around the world that they're really like very dedicatedly, with a lot of dedication, following these webcasts and practicing. And I encourage all of you to not just sit in front of a computer, but also to engage a little bit more in terms of in the Cyber Sangha, to share more, exchange more, and also any of this realization of these teaching and practices, when they arises in us, they've got to have a place in the world. It's not like for example, a fear. So if your life is so limited by fear all this time, if the fear is truly going, if the space is truly opening up, if you feel so much confidence, if you feel so much joy and creativity, so your confidence, joy, and creativity got to a place in the world, not just a passive. It's like something arising in the screen and dissolving the screen, but it needs to have a real place in the world to manifest in your life, in your family, in your friends. Give a birth to those qualities. If you are experiencing those qualities in you, give a birth to them, because giving a birth to them it's a continuation of those life force. If you don't give a birth to them, then there's no purpose of in the first place to give the birth to them. So it's a great joy when you're able to give a birth to a rising quality in your life from the practices. Okay, so that's all now. So the next live webcast will be November 12th. Okay, so that's all for now. Thank you. So we do the dedication.